Broadcasting live from the Business RadioX studio in Cumming, Georgia, it's time for FOCO Talks, brought to you by the Forsyth County Chamber of Commerce.
Well, happy 2024. Thank you all for joining us again and continuing on FOCO Talks. We are excited today to have our board leadership in the room with us. Steve Cooper with Cooper & Company is the 2024 chairman of the board, and Jan Rooney is the chair-elect, so she'll be serving in 2025. So really glad to have you both on, and really appreciate your time this morning. So thank you for both being with us. So Steve.
You're welcome. Good morning.
Good morning, James.
So Steve, let's start with you. Let's jump right in. If you would just tell us a little bit about yourself, about Cooper & Company, what you guys do, and just a little bit about you.
Great, James. I appreciate it. And good morning to everybody out there. I am a native Georgian. I grew up in Atlanta, was born and raised in Stone Mountain for many years. And back in the 90s, my dad had the vision to move to Forsyth County. There was not a lot out here at that time period. And I was wondering, what are you doing, Dad? There's nothing but trees out here. But he had a vision, and that vision was growth in our community. I've always been in the construction business. My father had me and my brother playing in the sandbox, playing with the Tonka toys, Legos, Lincoln Logs, and construction has always been in my blood. My grandfather was in the construction business. My great-grandfather was in the construction business. So I was set for that industry from birth. I went to school at Southern Tech. Back then, not a whole lot of students, about 4,000 kids. Southern Tech was absorbed by Kennesaw State now. That's where I met my wife. I've been married for 33 years, and that's one reason I got out of school was because of my wife. She sat next to me in calculus, and the rest was history. We have 3 daughters. All 3 of them are in the engineering world. My oldest daughter, Chloe, she works for Jacobs Engineering. My middle daughter, Channing, she works for Randall Paulson. And my youngest daughter, Lily, she is a recent graduate of Georgia Tech. As far as my firm goes, it's a family business. My father, brother, mother, we all work there. I've been in business since 1965. Done over 640 projects throughout our history in the Southeast. And a lot of those projects are educational, government, religious, industrial, aquatic, office, and transportation. We like doing projects in our backyard. For example, here in Forsyth County, we're doing the Cumming Rec Center and the Boys and Girls Club. Doing projects in your backyard, every project is special to us. But that sense of pride of community and seeing your sign where your neighbors can see it and you can help other businesses in our community, it's just a sense of pride for us. Also, I've been very blessed to start another business, a construction management firm with a couple partners, and we focus on multifamily work or opportunity housing. And we've been in business for about 3 years, and that business is striving well also.
Very good. So, that kind of work is a heavy lift, literally and figuratively. And of course, you guys have built some of the most iconic buildings and developments in the county. And so, given the demands on your time and the demands on Cooper & Company's time, why is it that you make the investment of time and resources in the chamber? What is the value there for you?
It's very simple, James, that me personally, I want to ensure that our community continues to be a great place to live and work for the citizens of Forsyth County. And about 5 years ago, a lot of things happened in my life as far as fate to to change that perspective and given an opportunity to make certain things happen. And one was a phone call I got from yourself asking me to be a part of the chamber. And we had been members for several years, but I never really got involved. And I just had a mindset of if I wanted to get involved. And I saw the many things the chamber did for the community as far as the businesses and making this a better place to live. And I wanted to be a part of that.
Very good. Excellent. Well, and we are grateful that you did and that you continue to see the value in the organization and the work that we're doing. So let's switch gears just a little bit and talk about, so I know a lot of folks, they think the chamber is part of the government. They think the chamber is maybe just a straight up advocacy organization. Others think of us as the tourism entity, and of course we none of that is completely correct. And so one of the things I know that I often get questioned about is who really runs the chamber, how does it work, who decides who gets to run the chamber. And of course, we're a 501c6, we're a membership organization. And as a membership organization, we are governed by a volunteer board of directors. So, Steve, as the chair, just now coming in, since we are governed by a board of directors, can you kind of, from your perspective, talk about what the board of directors really is, and what do they do, and the kind of people who are serving on the board?
Sure. So I want to say, first of all, to everybody out there, James is the leader. He's the leadership of the Forsyth County Chamber of Commerce. He does all the work, A to Z. It's a business, and he runs that business. And he's supported by the chamber board members. And I guess our motto is we want to promote positive business and ensure quality of life for the citizens of Forsyth County. And with that, you have many different people that make up the chamber board themselves with this same goal. And when I say many different people, we have people in the business community serving on the board. There's over 30 elected officials ranging anywhere from insurance agents, attorneys, restaurateurs, people like myself with the same goal. We also have appointed, I call it servant people such as the mayor, the sheriff, people from the school board, Georgia Power, representing their interest for the same common goal. At the end of the day, the board of directors, we try to ensure the continuity from year to year of the business aspect of Forsyth County and going back to the quality of life. And I give, for example, Dr. Jeff Bearden is retiring this year. It's our push, it's our goal to ensure that his replacement continues the good work that we have in the school systems. Forsyth County has a graduation rate of 96% for our students. We're number one in SAT scores. And if you're a business in Forsyth County, or if you're a business looking to move to Forsyth County, that's a great opportunity for your employees to know that our school systems are number one in the state and in the country.
So, Steve, one of the questions that I'm often asked, in fact, I just had one of our fellow Rotarians ask me this question, really, what is the difference? I think they thought that I was serving in the role of board chair, and they were like, "Well, no, what do you do for a paying job?" And I said, "Oh, this is this is very much my paying job." So I said, "But we do have a board chair, and the board chair is that is someone different each year, and they're volunteers." And I mentioned actually both of y'all and the line of succession that we have in board leadership. So, Steve, when you think about the differences of what I do as the CEO of the chamber and what a board chair does and what you're doing, what does that look like? I mean, if you were to explain that to that Rotarian who is asking the question, how would you address that?
So I will say this, as far as describing what I'm going to be doing in 2024, and what past chairs have done. Technically, I'm presiding over board meetings. I'm going to different events. I'm going to ribbon cuttings. I'm going to Power Network lunch or coffee before 9. I'm promoting the chamber. I'm like the ambassador. But I personally see it, I call it 2 words, respect and representing. And when I say that, I'm one of the first people that businesses will see as representing the chamber. There was an old saying, Ronald Reagan, when he stepped into the Oval Office, he always wore a sport coat. And when I see a board chair step into a room, I expect that board chair to have a sport coat on. And when I talk about representing the board chair, that person is always a professional. His attire, his speech, his actions, his thoughts. You're representing the chamber in everything you do. And we want to ensure our businesses have that person as their voice and champion the chamber.
Very good. Excellent. So when you're, we're here just barely out of the first week of January, and we've got a ways ahead of us this year, but a year goes by pretty fast. So when you're looking at this next year, what are you hoping to accomplish? What do you see as the work ahead for the organization?
So number one, ensuring that the goals we've had in the past continue. For example, we talked about in our meetings, T-SPLOST, making sure that is still on the table. The CID, making sure that is still on the table. Continuing with our committee, each month we talk about Forward Forsyth, Discover FOCO, our community development, healthcare, and transportation, and very important, One Forsyth. So making sure everything that's passed along to us in 2024 continues and we pass along in 2025. One of the goals I have personally is to grow membership, and that goal is 1,000 memberships strong. And we're going to do it. We'll have a committee meeting here in a week or so. But that's one of the goals I feel strongly about, because with a strong membership, we have a strong voice in our community.
Very good. All right. So when you think about this year, any concerns that you have as we roll into the next year? Anything that worries you or keeps you up?
I do. Getting in front of a lot of people and saying something I shouldn't. Other than that, we are supported by a great staff here with the chamber and a lot of great board members. And I always look at the glass half full, not half empty. Forsyth County is so strong. We're number 1 in medium household income, number 1 in medium home value, one of the healthiest counties in the country, most affluent county in the country, very diverse. And I just think it's going to be a great year, and so thankful to be in this position.
Thank you, Steve. And from your perspective, why? So the goal, is to hit that 1,000. From your perspective, why should someone join the chamber? What's the value for them?
Join the chamber is easy. Number one thing is you have connections. And when I say that, when you're a member of the chamber, you have opportunity to people or access that you don't have when you're not a member. And there's value to that. There's value to your business. There's value to your family life. And it just makes yourself personally, in my opinion, to be a better person.
Excellent. Well, that's a dang good reason. So, Jan, let's turn to you for a little bit. And so glad to have you in leadership and working with you. So, tell us a little bit about yourself and your agency of State Farm.
Well, thanks again for having me. I really appreciate it. Good morning, everyone. And Steve, I just really appreciate your leadership and coming on. I feel like following you and watching your leadership, it's really going to help me grow this year. And James, I know we've talked several times, and you know how I feel about you and the way that you run the chamber. And I'm just so happy that I can be a part of it. So just a little bit about me. I'm actually celebrating this year our 10-year anniversary for State Farm. And I'll never forget when I walked in the old building and said, I need to join the chamber. And here we are 10 years later. I'm still a part of the chamber. And now I'm in this leadership role. And I'm just like, wow. And my business has grown and it's flourished. And it's from all the support of the community and then my amazing team that I have that does that. And the State Farm Agency does what you think it does. We sell insurance and financial services, as our tagline says. So that kind of speaks for itself. But I am married. I am married to my husband, Jay Rooney, for 31 years. We are just so happy that we have finally made it to this stage of life. And I say that because we have 5 children that we have raised. Yeah. And so they are grown now. Our youngest is 26, recently got engaged, works here locally for Morgan & Morgan. Our daughter, Taylor, lives in Florida. She's a medical device sales representative. Then our son, John Dean, he actually just moved to Oregon, started his job yesterday.
Oh, wow.
He is a quantum computing measurement engineer.
Oh, wow.
For Intel. So
wow. I don't even know what that is. That's incredible.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. In fact, we went and saw his lab when he was doing his PhD at UCLA, and we were like, well, we just want to come and see what you do. So he tours us. I'm like, well, can you explain what you do? He looks at us. He's like, well, Mom, I'm just not sure you'll understand.
Yeah. Well, but that's probably fair. That's probably fair.
Yeah. And those of you know me, I looked at him and said, yeah, we're your parents. We bore you. Why don't you try us?
Right, sure.
Then he explains us and shows us that my husband whispers in my ear, did you understand any of that? I'm like, no, not a word. Right. So we're super proud of them. Then we have our 2 other boys. Tommy's an optometrist. He lives in Maryland. And then Stephen is actually my favorite right now. He is a claim adjuster. We won't mention the company. It's Progressive. But, people got to find their own way. It's fine. And his wife, he recently married a few years ago, and his wife, Maui, is a physical therapist for Benchmark. And they are our favorites because they gave us our beautiful granddaughter, Gianna. And if you know me, I know you're shocked that I brought her up at this podcast.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, good. So, well, you also you serve on a lot of different sort of civic organization boards. I know you just stepped down as rotated out as the board chair of Family Promise, and we were just talking before we started the recording this that you were up last night preparing a presentation for Habitat for Humanity, and you're very involved with Rotary and many other organizations. So why is giving your time and investing in the chamber important to you?
So I think for me, it's my husband might say it was to escape our children. It was not. But I think for me, it's really about shaping our community. I'm just kind of one of those people that I'm not saying I don't like what's going around here, so let me, I guess, get through my statement. But if you don't like what's going around you, well, then what are you doing to change it? And we came to Georgia 13 years ago now, and we left a school system that actually had a failing grade, was an F. And when our children went through school, we actually had to move them into private school. And then we pulled them out of private school and high school because we were like, well, at some point you got to learn to work with people. But education is just so important for your child's future. that, how do you help shape that? And they're still working on it down there. Now, they're not an F anymore. They get to be a D, but, and that's 13 years ago. So when we moved here, it was so important for us to be involved. And for us, it started in the school system, because when you have children, I think that's where it starts. But to roll up your sleeves to help the teachers, like if they're having an issue getting markers, buy the markers. Who cares? Whatever they're spending the money on, that's not the issue at that point. That's, you can go up through the ranks or work with your school board to try and help solve some of those. But if you can get in the classroom. So from there, as our children grew, then that spawned into, well, let's look around, especially as you get teenagers. What is there for us to do, besides just sit at home, or besides they go somewhere and get in trouble because there's no place to do. So really looking at shaping that has really helped. And, and like most people, you read books, right? So one of the books that I read was Developing the Leader Within You, and that servant leadership was a component. And for me, that spoke to me. And so from there, I love Rotary. I loved serving as board chair as Family Promise, love serving in that community because it helps bring people from homelessness to homes and really create that sustainable independence, not just someone who's looking for a handout, but can be on their own. And I've really enjoyed it. And I feel like when I leave this earth, I will have left it better than when it was here. And I'm so happy that will be here in Forsyth County for us, because this county is amazing. And if you haven't lived anywhere else, then you may not understand, or hopefully you understand the gem that you live in, because this county is so strategic, which is really a part of why I'm part of this chamber and continuing to grow my leadership here, because I've watched all the great work that you and your staff over the years have done in working in conjunction with the county, with the state delegation, with business owners to bring it all together.
Thank you. And it's a remarkable place, and a lot of people have worked for a very, very long time intentionally to make it so. So you're going to serve as board chair next year in 2025, and of course, very few of the things that we work on as an organization happen in a year. We're lucky if they can happen in 2 or 3 years, and some happen over a decade. But much of what you're going to be looking at in 2025 will begin this year. So what do you hope to see as the priorities for the year and the years ahead?
Mm-hmm. So I think for me, keeping this a county that can continue to grow and thrive in the business world, right? And so what does that mean? Well, there's a couple challenges that we're going to have. One is going to be more legislatively, right? Especially as you work on bringing in the gathering. Like, can we get that? Can we bring all that in and all that good stuff that brings? But there's certainly a lot of work that has to be done with that. And I know Alex and his team are doing their best to make sure that can happen here in the county. And then also, I believe, and I hope I don't get in trouble for saying this, but, for me, what is our workforce going to look like, and how are people going to live here and work here? I am not one that is a proponent of like decreasing my home value or anything, or those myths that may surround some of that. But how do we fix that issue that we're having with our housing just, going up so much? Again, one side of me is like, I think it's awesome, but then, I do want to go to a restaurant and be served. Yeah. So where does that go? I don't even know, but that's certainly something I think at the very least discussions need to be had on how we as a county want to address that, just so that we're making an intentional decision. And you guys are very intentional here at the chamber, which I love. And then wherever it lands through that intentional decision, I'm good with. Yeah. Just making it a priority. And then, obviously traffic is always like number one. So I live in the north end of the county now. And by living in that north end, you see a lot of traffic. You see a lot of the construction. So how do we keep that moving forward? But you also see a lot of empty land. So again, working the Forsyth Forward, I think, helps with that initiative for that economic development. And what do we as a county want to see? Because I think we're going to grow no matter what, because of where we happen to be located to Atlanta. So the question is, what do we want that to look like? And I think the more intentional and proactive we are, the better we'll be. And I just it makes me so happy to know how well your staff is. You are, as a leader, leading that charge to really bring it all together with all of the balls that you have in the air.
Well, thank you. And really, it also, a huge part of that is just being able to be able to look to great board leadership like Steve and you and the great work that you all have done and continue to do and will be doing. So we heard from Steve a little bit about what serving as board chair, means to him. What does it mean to you?
So I think for me, I think of partnership. I think that you have a board chair that helps represent the community to help that make sure that, because you guys are not a government entity, but people assume you are, right? So how do we make sure as board leadership that the chamber is focused on that economic development, making this a good place to live so that people want to move here, live here, and work here? And I think in that partnership, it helps you know, well, how is the business community feeling? It helps the business community know, hey, I have a place to go to really help shape this community that's going to be best for me, for my family, and my business. Because, if we're all being real here, we have to have thriving businesses so that we can have thriving families, so that our families get to do all the things that we all enjoy doing. And I think, the chamber is a great way to help do that.
Yeah, agreed. So, I'll ask the same question of you. So from your perspective, Jan, why should a business be a part of the chamber? What's the value proposition for them?
Oh, I love this question because I love this chamber because there's so many ways that this chamber can help you grow your business, and it can be multifaceted. Now, I'm an insurance agent, so for me, it's like I want to get in front of people. So like the power networking meetings that they have on Tuesdays, those are important things for small businesses maybe to attend. But if I am like the hospital and I need to strategically think where I need to put my next building, my next land, getting in touch with Alex, working on that CID so it's a place people want to come and stay, that might be something that I want to work on. And then other businesses, it might be, hey, I'm trying to build a 20,000 square foot facility here. I need some help navigating the local government to get that done. So tapping into Alex to help get that done. And then not to mention the movie industry. I mean, if you're someone who wants to be in that digital media space, could Forsyth County be a good place for you? Well, working in our tourism department, that could be with all of the movies and things that are coming here. So I think the chamber has something for everyone. But what I do know is you have to be strategic and intentional on what you want your goal to be. And then you have to be willing to roll up your sleeves to go out and meet people, talk to people, and make it what you want it to be. I don't think it's just a membership you pay and then say, well, the chamber is going to grow my business for you.
Right. Yeah. That is. It is not a fee for service membership. Yeah.
I wish it was, James, because then my business be $1 million by now. I think it should be.
From my perspective, I wish it could be too. We'd be printing money over here. So Jan, what's on the horizon? How talking about how people can get engaged and connected and be intentional. What's on the horizon for us and some avenues folks can do that.
So one of my favorite events, and I try to go to every one of them if I can, is our leadership meetings that you offer. And it's where we have a lunch that, the chamber brings in, and you have a local leader from the community. So it's a way to get to know a local leader. If you're trying to aspire to be a leader, you learn things from them and you become a better leader. And it's just a nice round table. And I think you even offer it digitally too. If you can't make it in, you can see it online. So I think that's a great one. That one is on, I think it's coming up on Wednesday, the 17th, right? Yep, and you're having Katati Patel, right? So, and then I think he's the owner, of the Country Inn and Suites? Is that right?
Yeah, Country Inn and Suites. They have just opened that not all that long ago, in this last year. It's a year and a half or so. It's beautiful property, and we've never had anyone on for the leadership discussion really from that part of the hospitality industry. So we have had restaurant owners on, but we've never had anyone in the hotel business, and that is a really unique and interesting business.
I'm really looking forward to that one because that is a 24/7 business, and it's all about customer experience and customer service.
That's right.
And I'm sure we all read, well, maybe not all of us, but the old old people like me may have read. Like there was a case study out about the Ritz-Carlton and how they became the Ritz-Carlton.
Right.
I mean, imagine that case study, and I'm sure they're applying some of those principles and what they do. I just can't wait to hear what he says and how he brings his business
satisfying
together.
the unanticipated or unspoken requests of your guests, which is. Okay, well, and
then I mean I have to go on and talk about the Women Connect.
Oh yeah,
because I'm a big champion of women in business, and so we have our first event this year. It's going to be Wednesday, January 31st, and so it's a breakfast, and then we kind of talk through the planning and what the event. What Women Connect does and means, and we network. And women, I mean, I got to call us out a little bit on it. We're not the best networkers because we have our children to shuffle, our jobs to take care of, all of our tasks that we love to do, we do. So take the time and come out and network, build relationships with other women, and then build your business by doing that. And so I hope you'll come to that one. And then, I would be remiss if I did not talk to people about the Chamber annual celebration that we have coming up. Because that's where we pass the gavel. So it's going to go from our past board chair Drew Walker over to Steve Cooper, and I just can't wait to watch Steve take the gavel and enjoy his year as board chair because I think great things are going to come under his leadership.
And I should add to that so we did something very differently this last year. We went all in on a theme, and it was May the Workforce Be With You. And so we focused on workforce development, but we had a Star Wars theme. So this year, we're really taking a look at where we've been and where we're going. And the theme will be Back to the Future.
Oh, awesome.
And so we hope you'll come. There may be a DeLorean. There may be some of our favorite characters from Back to the Future. Although I will say, you have this discussion and then you realize on your team how old you are. Like, I was like, oh wait, there's a lot of people in here who are thinking, oh yeah, my grandparents loved that movie. So, but that is it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have a lot of fun with that.
That's awesome. And then, and I would be remiss talking about all the development that I want to see in the North and shaping it if I didn't mention our 2024 economic outlook. And that's going to be, I think, it's an economist you have coming, right? I think Dr.
Roger Tutterow. That's right.
And that'll be at Astro Center,
yes,
Astro Celebrations.
Yes, both of those, both the annual meeting and the economic outlook are at Astro Celebration event facility. And Dr. Tutterow, this is his second year coming back with us. He's phenomenal. He is. It is hard to find a funny economist. He's a funny economist. He's very entertaining, very engaging. So
it'll be awesome.
Absolutely. So if you're interested in that, or to learn more about the chamber and the different and by the way, you don't have to be a member. I mean, we want you to be a member, but to come to any of the chamber events, you do not have to be a member. You just need to be interested and willing to come and participate. So you can learn more at the chamber website, focochamber.org. You can follow us. We're on all social media channels, and we try to be fairly aggressive about communicating what's coming up. And we've got a big year ahead. Just a few quick other things to mention in addition to what Steve and Jan have mentioned. This spring, we're going to be rolling out a program called Business Excel, and that is really going to be. We're probably going to have it to be 8 weeks, but it's at least 6 weeks. But it's going to be set up like coursework where we'll have a cohort and a team of folks that go through it together so they can come to be coached. They can come to coach others. It will be facilitated by different professionals in different service areas. So someone who's a great business accountant is going to be leading one about tax and accountancy, and we'll have someone else leading it on labor issues and HR issues, and so it's going to be a little bit of a business roundtable where a group of people get together, but it's going to be facilitated by different folks to really, you get out of that at the end. Again, you're going to be a coach, you're going to be coached. So that will be coming up in the spring. We're bringing back the Digital Marketing Academy in the fall, which is highly sought after and loved. And we will also be working on you mentioned it earlier, the new CID and getting CID up and running they're on exit 14. So, community, the CID is a community improvement district, and if you're those of you who are in Forsyth County, or if you're familiar with the work going on at Exit 12, where they're doing some landscaping improvements and really making it look a lot better, that work's all being done by a community improvement district. It's not, local government tax dollars. Property owners are joining together to do that. So, Steve, thank you very much for being with us, and I'm looking forward to working with you this year. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Final thoughts, James. First, thank you for your leadership. Jan, thank you for your leadership. I echo one sentiment we've said over and over here today is with the chamber, joining the chamber, you get what you put into it. And I will say this, if you're looking to grow your business, if you're looking to start a business, please give the chamber a chance. You will pay yourself tenfold. Thank you.
And I'll, Steve, add to that some Jan and well, both of you really mentioned, and that is, and I have known this to be true since the first day I started working for a Chamber of Commerce nearly 25 years ago. In my view, the single best way to impact the prosperity of your community and the overall economic health and well-being of your community is to get involved with the chamber. If what you want is to impact an outcome and to get engaged, come to the chamber. I promise you we will find a place for you to plug in. So thank you both very much. Looking forward to a great year. Thanks to Business Radio X and our silent producer who's sitting here beside me. And Amanda, thank you and all the work that you do for us. Looking forward to a great year of FOCO Talks.